Welcome back to another edition of Wrestling Around. And this week we're doing Bound for Glory 2011 from TNA Wrestling. Joining me today, the only person joining me today, you just didn't crack open a cold one. It's world-class wrestling journalist Aaron Franklin. Aaron, how are we doing?
I'm very well, thanks, Lew. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thank you. Just recovered from the weekend, obviously, in kayfabe terms. This is Wednesday now, so I've had 2 extra days to recover, which is good. But yeah, Ross, obviously, he's just celebrated his wedding. He's not with us. Terry, also not with us. He's not just celebrated a wedding. Yeah, but
it seems like we're the only two full-time.
Yeah, well, see what happens. I better not speak too much because I don't think I can be here next week because I'm ironically another wedding. but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, it sounds like we're the only two here regularly. So you've got the Lew and Aaron show. Obviously fans of our classic radio show from 12 years ago, and we'll be rejoicing that this reunion has finally happened.
In
audio format. So welcome to all our listener. I'm sure he's joining. Shout out to Dale. I'm sure he's listening again. So TNA Bound for Glory 2011. We might as well just jump straight into it. But what were your overall thoughts? Obviously, this was your idea to do Bound for Glory and do a bit of TNA for the first time in a long time.
I just love TNA. I just love TNA.
Is this era your era of TNA?
Yeah, probably from about here, so like 2011 up to about 2014. It's kind of where I tuned totally out of WWE.
Yeah.
And just was watching TNA. So when you had all like the old school, shall we say, coming into it.
Yeah, it did feel very old school at times. In fact, there was times in this show where it felt like it could just easily be WCW.
Or AEW now.
Or AEW now, to be honest. Yeah, the same guys are all there, aren't they, for the most part? I've never really seen much TNA, to be honest, especially on this part. I used to watch it in the 6-sided ring days on the wrestling channel.
Yep.
This TNA kind of, like I have again with AEW, to be honest, I was firmly like, right, okay, there's 2 camps. I'm in a WWE camp. That's what I do now. I'm a WWE guy. So I think I was still struggling along with WWE at the time. Where were we with WWE? Oh, this is the whole CM Summer of Punk, wasn't it? It was just ending with just kind of Kevin Nash had just been involved, speaking of old school people. What a weird year for wrestling was 10 years ago. The more I think about it, the more we look back on it. But yeah, this is probably the biggest the TNA ever got.
It probably got a little bit bigger than
this. Did it get a bit bigger? Was this before, or was this just before they went on live on Mondays? Was that 2012 that happened?
I think it might be 2012. Bearing in mind, you've still got a lot of big names to come across yet.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, you've got Kurt Angle, you've got Sting, you've got Hogan.
Yeah, Kurt Angle is well established now. He's been here about 5 years at this point.
Yeah, you've still got people like Booker T to come across. You haven't even got into the main event Mafia or any of those bits yet. What's the other one? The club? Can't remember.
This is an 8. Yeah,
that's season 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's the year after this.
Yeah, it is, because we did that Bound for Glory 2012 we did last year for some reason. I think because it's free on YouTube. That's the main reason why we did it last year.
Yeah, so like I think at this point they're just finding the feet and they're starting to make some big air signings, and I'll say Kurt Angle is probably the biggest one, probably up to this point. They can't go off on us.
Yeah, I guess active wrestlers. I guess like Hogan was like, it felt like it was going to be a big change again because he was quite well known at the time. I think Hogan's Knows Best was still kicking off.
Yeah.
He was felt like quite a big get from at the time, and obviously Eric Bischoff's there. He will claim to this day it was strictly in just he was there because Hulk wanted to be there. He had nothing to do with the creative. Depending on which sources you read, the how much you believe that. Basically, if Bischoff was involved in the creative or not. But yeah, an interesting time. So it takes place outside the Impact Zone as well, which is kind of, you can see that we're getting bigger. It takes place in the home of ECW, which is a big theme of one of the matches. On October 16th, 2011, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at the Liacouras Center, or Liacouras Center, I believe it's pronounced, which holds 10,000 people. 3,585 people inside, and the tagline of the event was a Terry Peters classic, "We the People." which I believe was before Jack Swagger started saying it at WWE, but that was the tagline.
So you're saying WWE stole something?
And basically, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I believe it comes from the Declaration of Independence, but I'm just going to double check that because we need to be sure. Oh, it's at a university, so I can find no menu. Have we got a menu? We've not done this in a while.
Now, if it's a university, there's going to be plenty of drinks.
There's a bloody menu. Here we go. Philly style pizza. Philly style pizza. Broad Street Dogs. Broad Street Dogs. Scoops and Hoops. There's a pub. A bar with popcorn and pretzels. There's another pub. PJ Williams craft beer and boneless. Hack a snack beer and snacks. Campus. Basically, it's all beers. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, looks like they're having a great time in the Leah Cora Center at Temple University in Philadelphia. So yeah, goes 3 hours. Big show available on Impact Plus. I'm liking it. We've got Impact Plus for this, but I'm quite liking it. I think I'm going to keep my subscription for a while longer and have a look around. Yeah. I like the fact when you open the app, at least on the iPhone, it just randomly starts playing something. Would find it annoying, but I started watching some like 2005 stuff today when it opened. The only thing that does really annoy me about it is there's no bookmarks like WWE Network.
Yes.
So I had to scroll and try and find my match today when I was finishing the pay-per-view off.
It's a bit of a nightmare when you're trying to find things.
Yeah, it's not quite as simple as a WWE Network, which I imagine is like being a Peacock subscriber in the US. I'm very lucky to have our network. Still, so should point out before we start kind of running through the card in full that I am using the 411mania.com's review. Ring Crew reviews TNA Bound for Glory because we watched this 2 weeks ago and let's just shoot on tell the people, give them what for. It was last week, there was a quiz. Me and Aaron were fully prepared for TNA Bound for Glory 2011. Terry and Ross said they needed more time. We've given them more time, and once again, they've battle rolled at the elbow holders. We've given them more time. They've not come through. It's just a pair of us.
I've got serious beef about this.
Serious beef with both of them. Yeah. They've made us wait an extra week. And it's just the two of us. So now we're both trying to struggle what we watched, to remember what we watched last week. But we've got notes. So we start as all Philadelphia-based shows do, whether the rest of them are not. We will look at the Liberty Bell. We then have a look at the Rocky statue, classic Philly landmarks. And then we fade into a bit of a slow opener, and we've got some shots of Hogan, Sting, Roode, and Kurt Angle preparing for their matches. So obviously we're going to the big two main events. Hulk Hogan versus Sting.
It was the big deal, wasn't it? It was
2011. Hulk Hogan versus Sting, which turns out to be Hulk Hogan's last televised match. Not his last match, but his last televised match. And then the main event is Bobby Roode and Kurt Angle. So we should give some, for people who haven't listened to this show or haven't kind of seen much of TNA, Bound for Glory is their WrestleMania, basically. So it's their big show of the year, which you can see in places. Other places I'm not too fond of because it should be the bigger deal than it is. But yeah, Bound for Glory is their big one. So I always used to think it was Slammiversary, but apparently that's the second biggest one outside of SummerSlam. Bound for Glory is the big one. So yeah, very good opener, really kind of gives it that big feel, doesn't it? That they're in Philadelphia, they're outside the Impact Zone. It feels like a big show. I said there was only 3,000 people in there. The way they filmed the arena, very much like WWE do. Everyone on one side, make it look as big as possible. So it looked like there were a lot more than the 3,000 people in there. So they're very well done. First match then is for the X Division Championship. And it's Brian Kendrick against the champion Austin Aries.
I'm a big fan of Austin Aries this era.
Yeah, he lets himself down personally quite a lot, doesn't he? But you can't deny him as a performer.
Yeah, fantastic. Screwed himself over in his WWE run.
Yeah, and then again in his final TNA run, I think it was been like, was it Bound for Glory, wasn't it? Was it 2018, 2019, where he just got up and left? He lost the main event.
I want to say it's 19, but I think it's 18 because
because I think John Morrison was back in WWE by 19, wasn't he? And he was, it must have been 18. Wow, time flies. But yeah, I just remember him going, "Fuck you," just getting up and leaving as soon as the main event was over, without saying a thing. And this is the period where the X Division actually had a weight limit on it, so it is more like a cruiserweight title again. At this point, which was I think Bischoff was always a big fan of doing. Before the X Division was just basically the cool match division. So most people wear cruiserweights, but then you had like people like Samoa Joe and I think Kurt Angle won the X Division Championship as well. getting there and tearing it up, but having a different style of match. But obviously at this point, it is just a cruiserweight event.
I think it was prior to this one where they had the 6-sided ring in the X division.
Yeah,
used to do the quite a few matches where it was on the scaffold.
Yeah, is that the Ultimate X?
Yeah,
that one. There was something else X, wasn't there? There was an Elevation X, but I think that was a scaffold match where you threw your opponent off, if I remember correctly. And then the Ultimate X was the one where the ropes were going across the top of the ring and you had to grab it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't really, when I was watching TNA on the wrestling channel in like 2005, 2006, the X division was like the thing that made it different, really. It was just all these just cool as fuck matches, which you didn't really see a lot of in WWE. I guess at this point in TNA, they're going more mainstream and they're kind of moving away from the cool wrestling.
It was either Hogan or Bischoff when they came across, was like, yeah, you get rid of that fucking 6-sided ring. I think it was Bischoff, wasn't it?
Yeah. Was it? Which one? Was it one of them? We came out and went, no more kiddie playpen, ring.
Yeah, it must have been Hogan, because that's something that Hogan would say.
Yeah. But he was trying to be a babyface. Everyone was just, all these TNA hardcore guys were just booing him. But he was like, no more kiddie playpen ring. And yeah, so they do have a 6-sided ring again, right? In Impact.
I have not watched it.
We might be back to four sides now. I'm not sure, but Jeff Jarrett always defends the 6-sided ring by saying it was the only toys they could sell.
Jeff Jarrett's a prick. I've got comments about that later on. But he's a prick.
Let's get to Jeff Jarrett and his comments. But yeah, I remember he always claimed when they did like a Tale of a Fear on the WWE Network about TNA that toy shows like weren't interested in the TNA toys because like no one knew who the wrestlers were other than the big stars. But 6-sided ring is a 6-sided ring and it just looked cool.
Yeah.
So that's always what they did. So Brian Kendrick and Austin Aries then. How long do we go? We go 10 minutes 27. Good opener. Austin Aries gets the win. Aaron, what would you make of this one?
Main comment that I made was Brian having his sneakers in the same color as the TNA logo. I appreciated that.
I did not notice that, but that's a nice touch.
Yeah, it's a lovely touch. What I made of it was 2.5 stars.
2.5 stars. What did Meltzer give this one?
Meltzer gave it 3.5.
Oh, 3.5. Oh, Dave.
I thought it was a solid opener. Nothing too special going on.
Yeah, no, it's just a classic X Division match at this point, wasn't it? But it was very much like, we'll probably compare TNA to WCW quite a bit in this pay-per-view, I imagine. But this is the kind of, all the WCW shows we've shown in the past. This is what we've watched, really, isn't it? This is what we've seen, like a good cruiserweight match to open it. And that's what the X Division is now. So 10 minutes 27.
For me, that's how a pay-per-view should open, cruiserweight match.
Yeah, just a good action match, really, isn't that's what you want, isn't it? Like,
for me nowadays, there's too many tag team matches opening pay-per-views, and they don't always get you going. Some of them are too slow.
Yeah, I think whatever you need to do, it needs to be fast-paced, isn't it? Was it the second night of WrestleMania this year where they opened with Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, and it was just such a slow, plodding match that it never really recovered until like 3 hours later when you had the main event. But I think you get the crowd on the feet, get them excited, get them pumped, because they've all just they've been drinking all day, especially through in Philly. They want to come in and get some action. Just get them excited right off the bat and get that good atmosphere going off.
They definitely did get the crowd going, because this next match was probably my favorite match on the card.
Yeah, but before we get to that, we've got Karen Jarrett, as she is at this point. Oh, is she Karen Angle or is she Karen Jarrett at this point? Karen Jarrett. With Tracy Brooks, and she's just having a go basically, and saying, "Right, I'm going to be the referee in the women's match." And Borash gets invited to help addressed. But she does say, Karen says to Tracy Brooks, "Don't leave the room unless I've got myself in harm's way," which obviously means there's going to be some shenanigans later on. But next we go to Full Metal Mayhem, which is this just a hardcore match? Is that what Full Metal Mayhem is, basically?
Yeah, pretty much.
We're in Philadelphia. We're doing Jerry Lynn versus Rob Van Dam. I don't mind a damn bit. The story behind it seems to be that Jerry Lynn feels like when they were in ECW, he was always just as good as Rob Van Dam was, but Rob Van Dam got all the plaudits, went to the big company, got all the main events, got all the glory. Jerry Lynn was kind of left by the wayside a bit.
Yeah.
So I guess IBD was meant to be the heel here, but it didn't really play out like that too much with the crowd. But yeah, what do we think of Jerry Lynn versus Rob Van Dam?
Oh, these guys just have fucking awesome chemistry in the ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't see chemistry like that often.
No, it's just a match you just can't argue, isn't it? Jerry Lynn versus Rob Van Dam. Just
Yeah.
they could do it now, I reckon.
Yeah, well,
And it's still be a good match. In fact, I'm
Yeah.
surprised they haven't in a big company yet. But if you're like an indie promoter and you're like, okay, especially if you're doing a show in Philly, okay, we need a match to put on. This is kind of what you're doing, isn't it?
oh yeah.
Straight away,
mean-
even to this point.
For me, this was like the perfect personification of a match where it was a hardcore match, but you don't need blood to have a good hardcore TLC match. There was no blood, but it was perfect.
Yeah, and I think this is my favorite type of hardcore wrestling, really, because I know that the bloody gory one's just a bit much for me at times. You know, when it's like, I'm not into all that. I think I've said it before on here, like the whole Nick Gage stuff where you've got like cheese graters and pizza graters in people's faces.
Too much.
I can't say I'm a fan of it because it just looks awkward, and like when you know it's real, like someone's actually cutting someone up, and like it's just like, why are you going for that pain? This is the sort of hardcore stuff where it's just big spots. This is what I like really from a hardcore match.
Yeah.
One of these big spots.
Some great ECW chants as well. ECW.
Yeah, that's it. Give the crowd what they want. Like you're in Philadelphia, they're going to be chanting ECW at some point. Just give them an ECW. AEW did the same thing recently, and they brought out all the old ECW guys for like a segment. You're in Philadelphia, you got to do it. I know it's weird that ECW has been gone longer than it was around now, but it's still worth doing because obviously it had a big legacy. Hell of a match this one then. The ending is a Van Terminator into a ladder.
Yeah, it was deadly. That was deadly.
Yeah. Some other big spots in the match throughout. Bomb onto the ladder. Bomb on a ladder on the floor. From Lynn on RVD. It was good. A couple of Van Daminators for twos as well. Just a really, really good match. With some Sabu chants at one point as well.
I must have
which I really enjoyed. Some big chair shots as well in this match. Some really big chair shots. But yeah, I thought it was a really, really good match. And as I said, like the Van Terminator into the ladder. RVD covers for the win, which I thought the match that the way they were presenting it, and it looked like it was going to be Jerry Lynn's last match. I thought they might have given the win. But they went with RVD, which I guess he was the biggest star at the time, and TNA invested a lot in him, so I kind of get it, and I guess they'll go on and do other stuff since then. But what would you make of it overall, Aaron?
Well, I think Dave Meltzer's been harsh here. You gave it 3.25.
3.25.
I give it 4. 4 stars.
4 stars. Yeah, I would go with 4 stars.
I don't think it wasn't 5-star. It was just a very good, solid, hardcore match.
Yeah.
4 stars.
Yeah, I would agree. It's kind of one like, was it my favorite match on the card? I'm not sure if it was, but
I think it was the best match on the card.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was my favorite match on the card, but it was the best match
from
a
technical point of view.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very good. Up next is a weird triple threat match, I think, and the people who are in it. So we've got Samoa Joe versus Matt Morgan versus Crimson. Yeah. Odd one, this one. So Crimson's undefeated and he was going to win Bound for Glory. Joe attacked him, cost Crimson the lead in the eventual title shot. Crimson's pissed and he wants revenge. And Matt Morgan's annoyed at something, so he's also here. Wasn't quite sure of the story. Didn't quite pick it up from the video from other than that, the fact that Matt Morgan was just like, yeah, I would be involved.
Yeah. Well, I've got a few notes on this one.
Yeah.
First one, by God, is Samoa Joe a big lad here?
Yeah, he was, and he's not the. I don't know. It was Samoa Joe was a weird point because it was almost like he was starting to feel forgotten, wasn't it? When all these big stars came in.
Yeah, for me, Samoa Joe in this era reminds me of Keith Lee. It's a big lad, but he can do. Oh my God, can he do spots?
Oh God, yeah.
Like there's a suicide dive through the ropes by Joe onto Crimson and Matt Morgan. It's like, Jesus Christ, how can big lads do this?
Yeah, it's just I don't want to kind of be too harsh with Crimson and Matt Morgan because they always played the part, but it's Samoa Joe's got to carry two kind of muscle bound stereotypical wrestlers to a good match here. And he can do it. It just always feels a bit weird when you see Samoa Joe in kind of like a throwaway match earlier in the card, especially on TNA.
Mm-hmm.
You expect him to be in those main event angles. But you could tell that I felt like they went out there with the idea to steal the show. Like I had the idea that the Joe especially was like, right, we've got to kind of get our heat back here, kind of steal the show a little bit.
And you see Morgan from the top rope to the outside onto Crimson.
The crossbody.
I mean, you very rarely see a big guy like Matt Morgan on top rope diving off onto the outside of the ring. I thought that was quite a good spot. Although it did seem a little bit awkward.
Yeah. But when you're how tall is Matt Morgan? Is he like 7 foot? Close to it?
Yeah, kayfabe 7 foot.
Kayfabe 7 foot, is he? Yeah.
He's probably like 6'5" in real life, I'd say.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a big muscly lad, as is Crimson. Not a lot from Crimson after this, I don't think. I don't think he's around too long.
Well. Crimson obviously wins the match.
Yeah.
Keeps his undefeated streak.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, his streak went on for 470 days until June 2012.
Oh, wow.
I
never heard of the fella, I'm not going to lie. I've not heard of Crimson. Obviously,
apparently after this, he went back into developmental and won a couple of titles, like the main titles.
Yeah. Oh, because of course their developmental was OVW at this point, wasn't it?
It was. So yeah, he went back to OVW, won a couple of main titles, and apparently he did come back to TNA very briefly.
Yeah, I still don't remember the fella.
I remember watching this pay-per-view when it first aired. I think this was the match that made me remember it. Yeah, I don't remember him really doing a great deal.
Yeah, no, but the end comes when Joe avoids and then gets his when Matt Morgan gets his foot caught in the rope.
Yeah.
So he can't interfere anymore, and then Crimson spears Joe and gets the win. 7 minutes 12. What do you think of the match overall?
It was an all right match. They tried too hard.
Yeah, I feel like they were really going out to steal the show, and I'm not sure they did that, but you could see the intent was there.
Strange enough, me and it's very rare that this happens, but me and Dave Meltzer were both on the same mark, 2.5 stars.
2.5 stars. My former man over here gave it 2 1/4. Yeah, average match, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was all right for a mid-card match.
Yeah, I will say that. Yeah, it was. I don't know. As someone kind of like not used to this level of this kind of version of TNA, I expected Joe to be in a bigger match. He did well there. Crimson, I guess they're putting the younger guys over, which I know was always a criticism of TNA and WCW that they weren't doing that, but
yeah,
they seem to be doing that here.
I'm not being funny. After that last match with Jerry Lynn and RVD, it was going to be hard for whoever followed that match. Impossible
spot, wasn't it? There were worse matches on the card that I remember would have put there instead.
There's a lot. It gets a lot worse.
Yeah. But yeah, it was what it was. 7 minutes 12, not too long, is it, for a triple threat match?
No, it's long enough. It went on long enough, not too long.
I would say, yeah, if you're looking to put people over, then you've got that. In Crimson, you're putting the right person over.
Yeah.
Jeremy Borish is back. He's obviously was he helping Karen get changed? He's not doing it anymore. Bully Ray's here. Bully Ray cuts a hell of a heel promo on
my God,
Philadelphia. Really leans into being from New York, which I guess he's got to do. If he's an ECW legend in Philadelphia, this is what you've got to do, isn't it? You've got to turn the crowd. And Bully Ray at this point, the man is not afraid to get heat. He's just a heel. My God, right?
Why was he not a main event in WWE?
Because I don't know.
This guy has probably got better mic skills than 99.9% of the WWE roster at this point, and even now. I feel like Vince just always saw him as tag team. Yeah, the one after the Boys couldn't see him past him being Bubba Ray, because he never really, even when the Dudley Boys split and Devon became Reverend Devon. Yeah, Bubba Ray was just Bubba Ray, wasn't he? He was just doing his Dudley Boy shtick. Yeah. This is my favorite era of Bubba, or Bully Rays, whatever you want to call him. He was fantastic in TNA. Yeah, he really was. Like I said, to get an ECW legend
in this era when the crowd are really, really wanting that nostalgia, to not give them it and just kind of flat out heel on them. I think it's great. You don't get many people. I think who's comparable? JBL, probably even like the internet will balk at this, but like the only person I can think now like really gets heel heat and doesn't mind being a heel is Baron Corbin. Not in the same league as Bully Ray, I hasten to add, but in terms of a wrestler who just wants to get booed and doesn't want to be cheered, there's not many around anymore. But yeah, Bully Ray really, really goes for it. So he's going to be in a Falls Count Anywhere match with Mr. Anderson.
He is.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I thought. This is just a weird observation for me, but did you think that Bully Ray's music sounded very similar to Sabu's WWE ECW music?
Can't say I made that connection.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to listen to them both back, but that was just my my take on it. So yeah,
this was just a brawl from the start. It was just straight from the get go. It was just them both going at it.
Yeah, they both went at it. I really like the spot with the sign, the street sign inside it. I think we've seen this before on a WCW show. Might have been a Spring Stampede or something, which I assume was in Philadelphia or somewhere near there. Might not have been actually because the ECW was on the go at that point. But I like the idea of that. He gets hit with the sign. He's knocked out. Was that what the hell's this? And it turns out, it's a bloody street sign underneath it.
If you think WWE at this time, right? If someone wants to get hit by that, they'll be bust open.
Yeah.
And again, this is where I go back to my earlier comment. Not every match with like using weapons needs to have blood.
No, I don't. I really don't think it does. This match didn't really need any blood. It just needed good heel action. That's what wrestling's missing these days. I'll say it again. Just need heels. Want to be heels. So Bully rips Anderson's shirt off, chops the shit out of him.
Also, there's one spot. Well, I want a spot from the wrestlers. There was some right slag in the audience who threw the beer over him, and then was stood. She threw a book. So they're both fighting at the ringside.
Yeah.
She just throws a beer over him, and then she's like cheering. It's like, why have you done that?
Yeah.
Work
yourself into a shoot.
Yeah. So then they kind of go back into the ring after that. You could tell they were both pissed off by it. It was obviously to try and get a 10 seconds of fame.
Yeah. And she's got it now. Aaron slagged her off.
Yeah, she's a slag.
Yeah. On the podcast. That's what you've got.
If you're listening,
10 years ago.
Woman who threw beer on Bully Ray and Mr. Anderson.
Yeah.
Just fuck off and die.
Just don't do it again. Yeah, ridiculous. I don't understand it. Like you've got to. They are just. It's just you're there at the theatre at the end of the day.
I can understand it if she'd done it just a bully.
Yeah,
she's a heel. But also, you probably paid $10 for that beer.
Yeah, will be cheap, especially in Philadelphia. But yeah, no, I don't understand. I've seen it happen before. Like you're working yourself into a shoot, are you? That's the only thing I can say. Like if you're that, and what is you that annoyed that the bully's having to go at Philadelphia and that? Like it's a wrestling show. Get over yourself.
Yeah, I'm not
a fan of it. They are brought out for a bit. They're on the stage. Bully Ray at one point steals Anderson's microphone. And
I thought this was a good spot.
Yeah, so he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen from Hell's Kitchen, New York City," and then Kennedy cuts him off and says, "It's in New York City. Welcome to Philly, bitch." Yeah, it is amazing, really, isn't it? Like how you can just kind of get someone so wound up by just saying a different town's name.
Yeah.
But he does it. Anderson hits him in the nads a few times, got the guardrail in the ring now. Backdrop on the guardrail, which always is nasty, doesn't it? Because there's just no way. And then we see a swanton on the guardrail as well from Anderson.
Just going back to the microphone skit.
Yeah.
I think one person who since then has made a really good gimmick out of that spot was Elias. Heel Elias.
Yeah. Where the hell is he at the moment?
He's getting his gimmick changed.
Well, he died, didn't he?
Did he?
Not in real life, but he that would have been a hell of a segue, wouldn't it? hell of a scoop. But he had that whole gravestone where it was like Elias 2017 to 2021 or whatever.
Oh yeah, I remember
And
that.
then they've not actually brought him back. So in kayfabe terms, I believe he is dead. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what they do. Maybe they bring back Bray Wyatt and then Elias kind of.
Apparently, they're going to bring him back like a completely different gimmick where he's not going to be a singer anymore. But I don't get why you'd have him be Elias all the way through the Thunderdome, and then when the crowds come back, kill him off. He's one who's meant for.
Oh yeah, crowd
He's
interaction.
meant for crowd interaction. That one. Did you see that one where he had to go at Seattle's basketball team because he left? And he just got 5 minutes of pure booze. Like him and Kevin Owens just could not finish the promo because he was just getting booed the entire time.
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, I should check it out. Just search for Elias Kevin Owens Seattle. It's honestly, I've never seen crowd heat like it. It's just a straight like 5 minutes of just booing, and they can't get anywhere with the promo. They basically have to sack it off.
But you're right. It's a very easy way to just create instant heat. You go to someone's hometown and you slag it off.
Yeah, hometown sports teams. That's it. It's the best way, isn't it? Yeah. So Anderson wins it in 14 minutes 33 seconds.
It was a great bully bomb through the table, though.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I completely forgot about that. I skipped over that. Is it going to get a 2 for that one? Yeah, I think it's 2. Yeah, I think it's a 2 count for that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a swanton where the table doesn't break, which is awkward, but then he falls up from downward spiral. But yeah, I thought this was a really good match. This might be my favorite, actually. I think I was a big fan of this match, but what does it get on the Franklin star rating system?
Oh, another 2 in a row of me and Meltzer on the ball. 3.5.
3.5, yeah. I can see that. Would you give Ravity and Lynn 4, wasn't it?
4.
Yeah.
Like I say, it got the RVD Lynn match got my best rating for the card.
Yeah, I think it was either this one or the RVD and Lynn one. I just liked Bully Ray's heel work. I think that was what made it for me.
Yeah.
I just really appreciate a good heel. I think especially if you're in the crowd when there's a really good heel out and you can just really have a go at them and obviously not throw your beer like that idiot, but just really, really have a go at them and lean into them. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what else I'm a massive fan of as well, which is weird, but I like that TNA were doing in this era. Their backstage promos when just kind of the camera just wasn't in the face, like everything looked like it was like reality TV, where it was kind of they were filming like from behind doors and stuff.
Yeah.
It made it look a lot more real, rather than like some sort of idiot like going, haha, I have a secret plan that I'm just going to say right in front of this camera. And then,
we see that in the next promo because we have Eric talking to James, who is the ref, who is actually obviously Garrett Bishop.
Yeah, who actually is his son, which I will say it takes Mike Tenay and Taz a long time to work out what's going on here.
It does. It does.
Michael Core levels of like, what's going on?
So obviously we'll get Eric and Garrett talking, and Eric saying that you need to screw Sting. Hogan has to win this match. Then obviously after that we'll cut to Taz and Tenay. We just can't believe that Jackson James is Bischoff's son.
They really can't believe it. Just today, just going, did I just hear what I think I heard? Is that Eric Bischoff's son? And like says, I think you called him son. And like it takes them a good 5 minutes of they're really beating us around the head with this. But they might say like a bit of an idiot, I think, but I thought it was quite funny. But yeah, I just like that promo style of like the hidden cameras. So it's like it's not like Bischoff's just got this concocting his grand plan like in an interview area or right in front of a camera and someone could just watch it. It's like just kind of being hidden when he doesn't realize, which
it works.
Yeah, I wish WWE would do that more. Really, just rather than just kind of this in-your-face camera nonsense. So just backstage interviews all the time where they focus on the interview. I think this way of doing it was really good. That's one thing that I was hoping Bischoff would bring in when he was SmackDown manager for like that week or whatever it was, 83 days. Oh boy, so we just enjoyed the last 2 matches.
Here
we go. The TNA Knockouts Championship. So the TNA Knockouts are basically the WWE Divas of the day. They're called Knockouts because they're well fit. Get it? It's a four-way match. Velvet Sky, Madison Rain, Hardcore Country, Mickey James.
Yeah, that's
banger
pretty
of a
much.
theme tune. And Winter, who was Katie Lee Birchall.
Ah,
I believe she's still in TNA. She's had a long run.
oh, really?
I believe she's still there now. I'm not sure if she's still going in the Winter name. But yeah, she's still there.
What I did not understand about this match, it's a four-way match, but they had to tag each other. They had to tag.
This is just infuriating, isn't it?
What is this concept? It's at first I thought, oh yeah, it's a knockouts match, and I thought, is it some sort of weird tag match?
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, no, it's actually a four-way match. It's
bizarre,
awful.
isn't it? Yeah, it's really. I don't understand why they do it. I don't understand. WWE do it a few times, don't they? When they do like six-pack challenge stuff, but or four-way tag matches or whatever, and there's only two in the ring at once. But why would you ever tag? Tag out. You just got to wait, haven't you, until someone gets near the rope and you slap them? Is that the idea of it? Like,
I'm gonna guess so.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. I just don't get the point. Just have them all going at once. Like, they can't be that bad wrestlers that you've got to make them wait for their spot. I mean, they are that bad wrestlers because this match was awful, to be honest.
I think the only one who's any good was Mickey.
Yeah, that was it. She was on her own. She was the hardcore country stuff, which was great.
Yeah.
Love that theme tune.
Yeah, it's one of their best, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, she actually sang herself. She had like a country singing career, didn't she, at this point?
Did not realise that.
Yeah, she was actually a part-time singer, a part-time wrestler. Yeah. She was actually a full-on country singer, Mickey James.
Interesting.
At this point, which is really good. This match was not really good.
Oh, this is fucking awful.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what happened. Like, Karen Jarrett's involved a lot, which is enough, isn't it, to say? But
yeah, so you shouldn't count for Mickey James or for Velvet Sky. Karen finally gets taken out and blinded by Winter.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously because she's in harm's way.
Here we go. They foreshadowed it. It's good stuff.
Yeah, that other woman came out. Can't remember her name.
Tracy Brooks.
Yeah, and then and then Velvet Sky wins because she makes the pin, and then that Brooks woman counts.
Yeah,
fuck me. It was an awful match.
8 minutes 41.
It went 7 minutes 59 too long.
Yeah, it was a long match, wasn't it?
It
was just so slow paced, wasn't it?
Yeah. Dave's been very generous.
I know what he's giving it.
You give it a dud.
Wow.
I give it -5 because it was
-5.
That bad.
Is that like the rock bottom with the Franklin Star in?
Yeah, I mean, if I could erase 8 minutes whatever from my life.
8 minutes 41.
Yeah, 8 minutes 41, that'd probably be the 8 minutes 41 that I erase, to be honest. Is it one of the worst wrestling matches I've ever seen? It's definitely the top 10.
Yeah, I think it was just awful, wasn't it? It was just
it'd been better if it was just a fatal four-way.
Yeah, the story, I just didn't like that. I just didn't care for the story either, to be honest. Like, I didn't really get what Karen Jarrett's role in this was. Like, I don't think she was running the company. She was running the Knockouts division. Women's division. Was that? Yeah, because I don't know. I don't really get or care how she fit in with everyone else. Kind of running the company right up there at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, Velvet Sky wins it. I guess there's meant to be a big babyface pop there. Crowd were a bit like, yeah, okay. Velvet Sky's crying. She's loving it. She was a heel for most of her career, I believe, but it looks like she was a babyface at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did not care for it. Didn't seem like anyone in the crowd did. For many have been even more generous to the period. They'd give it 1 star. I would probably align more with you, Aaron, on that one.
Yeah, it was genuinely awful. I think we should just move on.
Too much, but let's move on.
It doesn't get much better.
Borash is back again. He's talking to Kazarian. How are you dealing with 2 members of Fortune Clan tonight? He wants them to get out of the system. Fears it won't be the end. Here we go then. And I quit match him next. So they're pulling out all the stops in terms of gimmick matches. We've had a Full Metal Mayhem. We've had a Falls Count Anywhere. We've had a
just before we get into this match.
Tag.
Yeah, just before we get into this match, I saw Styles v Daniels and I thought, Oh my God, I cannot wait for this match.
Yeah.
Because historically, they have great in-ring chemistry. They always put on good matches together.
Mm-hmm.
This was not the case.
No.
I am not a fan of I Quit matches.
They're too slow paced, aren't they?
They're just fucking shit. Like, I'm going to throw 2 punches at the start of the match, and I'm going to grab the mic and say it.
Yeah. I feel like they should only be used if you've got a really, really good story.
There's only one person who's ever pulled off good I Quit match.
Roman Reigns.
Mick Foley.
Oh, Mick Foley as well. Yeah, his was quite. Well, he's had quite a couple actually, hasn't he?
He's had a few, and they're quite good.
Yeah, though. Yeah, but they were all kind of storyline plots in the end, weren't they? Like the whole Ric Flair and Mick Foley one at SummerSlam. Yeah. That was good, and that had built. Well, it was meant to build to a story of Melina, which didn't go anywhere. Done with The Rock, obviously did, where The Rock cheated to win by playing a recording. I thought the one last year between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso in a Hell in a Cell was really good. Like, it wasn't a good match, but it was a good story. At the time, that was inside Hell in a Cell, wasn't it? Which again goes back to how much Hell in a Cell's wasted at the moment. But this was, I was very disappointed. Like, I saw, say, Christopher Daniels versus AJ Styles. You expect like 4 stars minimum?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I would say, but it wasn't Christopher Daniels versus AJ Styles. That's fine. That's good. I Quit match completely takes away everything they're good at.
Yeah, it does. It was too slow paced because they're having to stop and start all the time because they were grabbing the mic. Say it.
Yeah.
Daniels is fantastic though. He's another person who's just a great heel.
Yeah, for sure.
When Daniel chickens out, when AJ obviously he uses the screwdriver on AJ.
Mm-hmm.
And then AJ finds it in the turnbuckle. He grabs it. And then that's when Daniels just cowers away into the corner, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And then just quits before AJ has a chance to use the weapon.
Yeah, which felt like a really weird ending, didn't it?
It was, but it was a good ending for a terrible match because it gave Daniels even more heat.
Yeah, because he just wasn't having it. So it wasn't like he'd kind of quit.
Yeah.
Ashamedly, he'd quit because he was just like, "No, you're not doing that to me."
He quit because he's a coward.
Yeah, basically.
We don't see enough of them cowardly heels anymore. We don't see enough of them. From I like it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I suppose the heels these days, like especially when I'm looking at WWE, they're just big dominant society, and then like Lashley and Reigns, and then in AEW you've got Omega who's arrogant.
Problem is, all WWE's heels are just big guys, aren't they?
Yeah, that's just big monster heels now, aren't they? Really, who lose matches, so they're not monsters. They're not monsters anymore. I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind a good chicken shit heel, and I thought Christopher Daniels played it really well. And character work, this is probably really good work.
Yeah,
but I think when you, like you said right at the beginning, you see Daniels versus Styles, you're expecting a bit more from this. A bit where Christopher Daniels was like, "You suck," and then AJ was like, "Well, you suck on this." And it was the mic. That was.
AJ just looks weird though, because I'm so used to him having long hair.
He does now. He looks a lot better now, doesn't he? He's aged like a fine wine, AJ. He looks like just a weird country boy, doesn't he?
Yeah.
At this point. The crowd kind of just groaned at the finish because they wanted blood. They didn't get it. They're in Philadelphia. And also, it's Christopher Daniels versus AJ Styles. It almost ended out of nowhere for me and felt flat. Like I say, it's good heel work, but kind of not what you want. I say you would expect 4 stars minimum. I'm going to guess that you didn't give it 4 stars, Aaron.
No. Dave was a lot more lenient than I was. He gave it 1 3/4. I gave it a 1. 1 star.
Wow. 1 3/4 from Dave Nelson, you said, man.
Yeah.
Formal Mania gave it 3 stars, so obviously they're feeling a lot more generous.
It definitely was not a 3-star match.
They've also noted that AJ Styles apparently did the same finish with Rhino at Final Resolution 2006. And apparently it might be a callback to that.
Right.
But it was just not what you would expect. Obviously, after the match, Daniels gets his heat back by attacking AJ and giving the Angels wings on the stage. And then it just didn't fit. Apparently, the feud just ended there.
Oh, really? Is that just the end of it? To me, it felt like it should have carried on and
it looked like
ended somewhere.
It looked like it was building to another match, didn't it? But
it did, 100%.
It just didn't, apparently. And next, I'm sure you've got a lot to say about this. Here we go. So, the one person who comes up on every WCW show after the year 2000 and comes up on every TNA show that we've watched so far, and invariably, this guy turns up, and I don't want to beat on him too much, because even my dad was like, you really don't like this guy, do you? But here we go. Jeff fucking Jarrett turns up.
He doesn't just turn up though. I mean,
he makes every show worse, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Can you think of a time where Jeff Jarrett's presence has benefited the show?
No, he screwed DDP.
Sure did. He screwed WCW out of existence as well, by being their champion.
Yeah, 100% was not Vince Russo's fault. It was 100% Jeff Jarrett's fault.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it was Vince Russo's fault for booking him so much, but who knows? Either way, it did not work. So he gets on the microphone and says he told Jeffrey Nero hi, there sit in his hellhole. His promo's not very good.
Before that, he's walking to the ring and he just keeps calling all the audience members a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's funny coming from a piece of shit.
He's having to go. He's having to go at everyone.
At this point, Jeff Jarrett doesn't own any TNA, does he? He's sold off at this point.
Yeah, no, he's on the board, isn't he, or something? Like he's still got.
Why is he still here?
But this was the weird part, wasn't it? Where obviously Karen Jarrett became Karen Jarrett, formerly Karen Angle. And I do remember Jeff Jarrett disappeared for a while, but he's back now, obviously. Comes out that it's not about him, it's about everyone, the entire roster, and then he corrects himself to say roster.
Yeah.
Nobody wants Jeff Hardy here, according to Jarrett. Yeah.
Obviously Jeff Hardy comes out.
It doesn't make sense, does it? So he's gone out there. So like the thing is, like, he's saying like nobody wants Jeff Hardy on the show. That's Jeff Jarrett's point. If Jeff Jarrett doesn't go out without a match and calls out another wrestler without a match, there would be no reason to see Jeff Hardy. So what's he doing? It makes no sense. Yeah, Jeff Hardy comes out. Oh, he says he's calling out Nero and then calls him a bitch, which obviously, I guess.
I didn't realize that Jeff Hardy's going by Nero this far back.
No, it is his real name, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, it's his real middle name. Nero.
Didn't know that.
Yeah,
learn something new every day.
Jeffrey Nero Hardy is his real middle name. Yeah, because I remember when he was moving to WWE, he was like, "Oh, thank God, my middle name's Nero," because he could still be called Brother Nero if they'd gone down that route.
Right.
But yeah, they just have a bit of a brawl.
Security storm the ring.
Yeah, including
and they go on.
One, D'Lo Brown.
I know he's part of the backstage staff that follow the security staff because the security staff can't get him under control.
Yeah, but the useless can't get Jeff Jarrett under control.
And Hardy gets the upper hand and Jarrett gets escorted out. At the end, Jeff celebrates.
Yeah, and as this website here, Formal Mania, points out, D'Lo possibly got a bigger a bigger pop than everyone else involved in this segment.
Agreed.
So yeah, not very good, is it? Jeff Jarrett at this point possibly should have left and retired.
And never seen again.
Yeah, I would say. Not a very good brawl either. When you think of some of the great pull-apart brawls that Brock Lesnar's had in the last few years, you never get tired of those.
Some of the fantastic brawls at Austin back in the day.
Yeah, Austin like Tyson and that, and like, yeah, this was not one of them. It just didn't look like they were really going for it. Like it just didn't look just good, to be honest. Like
it didn't look real. I think
it just didn't look intense, did it? Because Jeff Jarrett is just not very good. Like. Yeah. I know we're shitting on him a lot now, and like, you guys know been wrestlers, yeah, whatever. Jeff Jarrett just wasn't very good. Like the guy on the company had a management position in the company. Like maybe he didn't know that anymore, but Dixie Carr didn't know enough about wrestling to know that Jeff Jarrett was bad. Evidently, from this point, he's still there. Like, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Jeff Jarrett in the slightest, as I'm sure we've covered on numerous occasions. Yeah, I think the guy ruins everything he got into. I remember he was stuck into the Bullet Club that time. Ruined that. Ruined everything, really. Possibly one of my least favorite wrestlers of all time. Although Dolph Ziggler is pushing him close.
I would go as far to say where's WCW champion.
Oh, by far. Like I know they said David Arquette killed it,
Nah,
but I think Jeff Jarrett having like 5 WCW title reigns or whatever he had, that was what killed it for me.
At least David Arquette made a comeback and made a really good wrestling career. Did Jeff? No, he didn't.
No, and also, just while we're just really beating on Jeff Jarrett, although apparently his podcast is really good. I've not listened to it yet, but apparently it's really good. And everyone who didn't like him in the past likes him now because of his podcast, apparently. Sorry, I've heard. But my point is, David Arquette was never meant to be taken serious as the champion, whereas Jeff Jarrett, we were apparently meant to take him seriously. And that was what made it worse for me, because he wasn't very good, but we were meant to think he was good, whereas David Arquette wasn't very good, but we were never meant to think he was good. It wasn't like David Arquette was going there beating people clean or beating him with a guitar shot. He did have that one thing where he hit Gary Coleman with a guitar. I'll give him credit for that. Stab nuts! Just lays him out with a guitar. I will give him that. That was a great moment. That'll go down in history as one of my favorite wrestling moments of all time. But other than that, absolutely, nothing for me. Just want a very good pull-up hat brawl. And everything that was in that segment, you could see better elsewhere. The thing is, like, this segment took that long. Just have a match.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that,
This is a 2-minute match.
Have a 2-minute match. So Jeff Hardy gets a win with Swanson. It gives the crowd something to pop before the next couple of matches. Before the heels just dominate the rest of the show, I guess. But we guess let's go into the 2 main event matches then. As we said at the beginning, Hulk Hogan's last ever televised match, which feels really, really weird to say. 2011 feels both too early and too late for it to be Hulk Hogan's last match.
Yes, it's a very weird one, isn't it?
I feel like he shouldn't have been wrestled at this point, but also 2011 feels like a long time ago. Like he should have had another match since then. I'm not really sure.
Even stranger to think that Sting is still wrestling.
Sting's still on the go now, which is mad, isn't it? But Hogan gets a big pop. He's coming out to his like a remixed NWO music. Yeah,
it's like a mix between Voodoo Child and the NWO music, and I was all for that.
Yeah, I was a big fan. I mean, I think they probably could have used the actual NWO music because it's just stock music, isn't it? I think I've heard it on like Top Gear before in the past. Weirdly, obviously, for some reason, Hulk Hogan and Sting think they're women wrestling in Saudi Arabia because they're both wearing t-shirts throughout this match.
Just old men, aren't they? Don't want the saggy tits on shit.
Don't want. I mean, we do get the saggy tits.
We do.
From the blokes, we'll say. But this match. What do we think of this match?
Sting comes out
last match.
Yeah, obviously Sting comes out and he's Joker Sting, isn't he?
Yeah, which I completely forgot that existed. To be
honest, I was all for it because I thought it was very good. Hogan's obviously fighting dirty. He brings out the dirtiest player in the game, which is Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Do you know what Hogan really reminded me of? Was FUNB era Hogan.
Oh, yeah.
Blood. Yeah. Just with his attire, the way he was wrestling. Major flashbacks.
That was like 11 years before this as well, wasn't it? But I know what you mean. Like, he did feel like that. It was almost like half. You could tell that he just, as much as he was a good heel, especially in NWO, you could tell that he wants the pops. And obviously he'll get them at the end, sort of. Sting does take his t-shirt off at one point. He's in full-on Sting gear. Doesn't look in great shape, let's be honest. But he's getting on a bit.
Do you think his leotard was just an excuse for him not to work out as much? Because you think back to WCW, like Surfer Sting. Fuck me, he was really he was ripped, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And then did he just let himself go once he got into the leotard?
I think possibly. I mean, how old would he have been around here now? He'd have been getting onto his 50s, wouldn't he?
Yeah, late 40s.
Yeah. So I think, but then again, like I always bring up as an example, but Bobby Lashley's 45, which I cannot get my head around.
Yeah.
So I guess in some ways there's no excuse for it. But I think Sting's had those issues before, and that was the whole Starrcade 97 debacles because he didn't get a tan, he wasn't in good shape.
Yeah. Well, Hogan loves getting busted open, as I made comment when we watched the pay-per-view with Fuck You New Blood era Hogan. He loves getting busted open.
Loves a good blading.
It's a short match. Sting makes Hogan tap with the Scorpion Deathlock.
Yeah, which is obviously Bischoff's son. We
Yeah.
thought he was going to screw him out of it. He didn't, which is weird. 9 minutes 43. I would say this match wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No, I thought it was going to be awful.
Yeah.
What goes on after the match is more entertaining.
Yeah, but I thought it wasn't the sad spectacle that I thought it was going to be. No. I thought it was like, okay. Yeah, it was just... I don't think it's like, what was Hogan's last WWF match? Was Randy Orton, SummerSlam? That was probably better than this, I would say. Say, but yeah, it wasn't terrible, to be honest. Do you think it's a worthy way of Hogan to go out, or do you think he should have stopped long before this?
It's a bit bittersweet. I like the idea of him. His last match was with Sting.
Mm-hmm.
Want the greatest match, but you're never going to get a great match out of a guy in his late 50s.
No, and that's the thing. It's like Hogan wasn't really doing great matches anyway. Like, was he for a long time? Like,
what was his last great match?
The Rock? Yeah, which would have been 2002. So 9 years before this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that point, he's like late 40s. He's probably... Was he about the same age as what Triple H is now when he wrestled The Rock, roughly?
Let's have a look.
Will be, won't he?
Hulk Hogan. He was born in...
He's 63 now.
He's 68 now. He's born in 1953. Oh. So that would have made him 49 when he wrestled The Rock.
Yeah. About the same age as what Hunter is now.
So yeah, at this point, well, it was 10 years ago, wasn't it? So it's 58.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, fair play, I guess, in some ways. Did all right, but it wasn't. Yes, it wasn't his last match. He had two more. It was his last match in America.
Did he have one against Bully Ray that further down the line?
Further down the line from this, so this was his last match on TV. He had 2 house show matches in the UK.
So it's the feud TNA. He had with Bully Ray before this, when Bully Ray marries Brooke.
I think at that point they were feuding, but he wasn't wrestling.
Right.
Yeah, it was like the whole Aces and Eights thing, which is the year after, I think.
Yeah. Okay, that makes...
Yeah, his last match, and he had it twice, in 2 different occasions in the UK. One in Nottingham, randomly. Where was the other one? The MEN in Manchester. It was Hulk Hogan and James Storm and Sting defeating Bobby Roode, Bully Ray, and Kurt Angle. 6-man tag matches. That was his last match. It was in Manchester. 4,000 people.
So anyway, after the match, Ric Flair gets in the ring, starts beating down on Sting.
Classic Flair.
Then all of the Immortal come out, and then Bischoff takes Jarrett out of a chair.
Yeah, I guess that was a weird twist for the sake of a twist, wasn't it? Revealing that was Jarrett, and then not do anything with it. He was just. I think they do. Such a nice lad, anyway. Did he go further with it?
From what I remember, yeah, they go further with it. Yeah. Following the weeks on Impact. So then after that, Immortal obviously beating the shit out of Sting. Sting starts screaming at Hogan to help him. And oh my God, did this get a huge pop. Hogan turning face because he turns on the Immortal. Hulk's up.
So that's what people want to see. He takes his shirt off. Like, it was great.
Sting and Hogan clearing.
Very similar to The Rock and Hogan, really, wasn't it?
And Sting wants Hulkamania back, doesn't he?
Yeah. He sure does. Because I was worried that they were losing the crowd. Like, one of my notes was like, this beatdown's gone on for a long time. Like, I thought the crowd were getting a bit restless. And then all of a sudden, not out of nowhere, Sting's like, help me. So Hogan looks around. Classic Hogan stuff. And then just, rips the shit off and the crowd goes wild.
Yeah. Like easily the biggest pop of the night.
Yeah. Oh, easily. That's what you say about Hogan. Like, I know he's like, 58, we just said at this point. He's still one of the biggest, up until the point where he got racist. He was still one of the biggest stars in the game, wasn't he? Like, I don't think he'll get that pop again now because there's too many people just don't like him.
There's probably, you could count on one hand the people that get as big pops as him.
Yeah.
Austin, Rock, Hogan.
I think you might have to put Cena in that argument now.
Yeah, Cena. Yeah.
I don't think you would have done when he was an active wrestler, but now that Money in the Bank pop was somewhat ridiculous.
Yeah. I think I'd struggle for the last one.
That's it. Like maybe.
They're the big four, aren't they?
Yeah.
If you think of game changers in wrestling, maybe the Undertaker.
Yeah.
You think the
I think
Mount
individual
Rushmore.
pops he doesn't get every week, but obviously CM Punk's return pop this year was
Oh, that was huge.
huge. Yeah. Like in Chicago, that was ridiculous. But I don't think he gets that every week now, does he?
Yeah. If you think of Mount Rushmore, and I mean, we've covered this in the archives. If you want to hear our Mount Rushmore of wrestling,
yeah,
check that out. But they're easily the biggest. No one's ever going to be as big as Hogan, The Rock, Austin, Cena.
Yeah, I think that's the thought for me. But
I mean, I think even with another 50 years of wrestling, I don't think you're going to have. They were the game changers of wrestling. Hogan established wrestling.
Yeah.
The Rock and Stone Cold made the 90s and just carried on kind of what Hogan had been doing. And then Hogan kind of helped through the Attitude Era as well. He was the biggest star in WCW.
And obviously the Rock's took it mainstream, hasn't he?
Yeah.
To a new level. And then, Cena is just went on forever. Cena, he's run on top of him, isn't he? And now he's a big Hollywood star himself. He's probably the closest thing we're going to get to The Rock. In terms of big Hollywood stars, obviously Dave Bautista's a better actor, but that's a different debate for a different time.
It's fine because there's nothing that The Rock can't do.
No.
For those that haven't heard it, he's actually done a rap in a song.
He's done a rap for a song, and now he's on about like, oh, I might run for president if people want me to. Apparently 46% of Americans would like to see The Rock run for president.
I would vote. If I was American, I'd vote.
And that's without him even trying.
Yeah, I know.
That's without a campaign. Stuff. Yeah, exactly. He's done nothing other than just be The Rock at this point.
Who would be his vice president? Who would be his vice president? Kevin Hart.
D'Lo Brown for me.
D'Lo Brown.
Yeah. Farouk.
Ron Simmons, yes.
That's it. Nation domination is back. Like Mark Henry, you just like taking our shit. Imagine that. Kim Jong-un's like, yeah, we're going to piss out with some nukes. The Rock walks in, and Mark Henry's his muscle. He can do anything. He'll disarm immediately.
Imagine though, like you had Ron Simmons as your vice president when they're doing the campaigning. Like you've got whoever his opposition is. So you're probably talking at this point, it's probably going to be Biden.
Yeah.
Biden says something and Ron Simmons just stands there, looks at him, just damn.
Exactly. I say, yeah, Biden forgets what he's saying, just a regular occurrence.
Yeah,
Ron Simmons just like, damn.
He's about 200 years old, isn't he? Can't
Exactly.
got the greatest memory.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously, then weirdly, The Rock still he needs to go into WWE Hall of Fame first, isn't he? Because you can't have. We've only had one Hall of Fame president. Yeah.
One more. He's got one more match. It's Roman Reigns.
Yeah, him and Roman Reigns. I think they're going to wait till. So WrestleMania is in Dallas next year, but it's in Los Angeles the year after, isn't it? And it looks like that's what they're aiming for.
To be honest, I'd like to see two more matches. One more at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to
bring him back as like a. Yeah, apparently he's just going to be on video or something, isn't it, this year? Because it's filming the Survivor Series. So what was that?
Is it the 25th anniversary this year?
Yeah, of his debut.
Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently he's just going to be on video for that, but he won't be there.
Well, it's better than nothing.
It is. It's like, I remember when he came back to do that promo, like, was it about Umaga? Once, and it was just a video promo.
Yeah.
And that was huge. Or when he just turned up at the Hall of Fame that time to induct his dad and granddad.
Yeah.
That was huge. So just get him on the show all is big, I think. He was weirdly that the last pay-per-view he had turned up on was he was on the Impact pre-show, wasn't he, when he was inducting Ken Shamrock
yeah, of course.
The TNA Hall of Fame. Like,
yeah, I mean,
that's the last wrestling show he's made an appearance on. I loved how they just stuck out the pre-show as well.
So
they didn't hype it. They were just like, oh, by the way, Dwayne Johnson's just giving a little message. Very
so if you think then, WrestleMania main inductees, so I think Undertaker potentially next year.
Yeah. Yeah, with it being in Texas as well. I think it's got to be Undertaker for the main one.
It's got to be The Rock the following year. Final match at WrestleMania, and then inducts The Rock.
Yeah, unless they induct him this year, and then they do it all next year, and then you do an angle.
I think that they need to do Undertaker.
Roman interrupts his induction. So I don't know if they've never done that before. I don't think it's not a night for, is it really?
No, I mean, Undertaker needs to be in Texas, don't we?
Yeah,
The Rock.
The Rock in LA makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? I don't think they've announced it anywhere. Where is the UFC? Have they? I hope to get the with WrestleMania being 2 nights and SmackDown being on a Friday, and I hope to get the Hall of Fame properly back in the weekend, because last year it was on a Tuesday night, wasn't it? It was just shit, really, wasn't it? At least get it on a Thursday, or I don't know. I would even put it into Raw and SmackDown somehow. SmackDown Hall of Fame SmackDown or something. Have a few matches and a few inductions like for free, just to make it a big deal as part of WrestleMania again. Because it was just, I know it was weird circumstances this year, but I just thought having it on a Tuesday night, it was just very random because who was watching. But, I don't know.
We've segued quite a lot there.
We've segued quite a bit, but that's just the start. The other thing I was going to say about Hogan was, I was just looking at, I was saying his last match in front of 4,000 people in Manchester. Not a chance that TNA is drawing 4,000 people if Hogan's not on that card. At that time, like they've just done 5,000 for the biggest pay-per-view. They're not going to do 4,000 in the UK without Hulk Hogan there. Probably selling similar amounts of tickets to what they're selling in the UK tour right now, to be honest. TNA always did well over here, didn't it?
It did, and I think
I'm surprised they didn't do more pay-per-views over here. AEW is going to sell out Craven Cottage immediately.
It's going to be ridiculous trying to get to order tickets for that.
Yeah, we'll have to get Terry on the case for that
one. Right, so scores on the doors. Dave Meltzer gave it 3 stars. I gave it 3.5.
3.5, yeah. I'll go with that. 4 Mania gave it 3 stars as well.
All around the same ballpark.
Yeah, they're very generous for Dave Meltzer though. I almost thought that would be one where he would just give it like 1 star and think about it.
Yeah.
So fair play, Dave. But yeah, I thought it wasn't as sad and tragic as I thought it was going to be. Because I'm getting honest, I picked this pay-per-view because I wanted to set the piss out of that match. But actually, it was quite good. Okay, let's move on to the main event then. And I've got a lot of beef with this main event before we start. Right, this is the biggest show of the year. The entrances were shite.
Yeah.
Bobby Roode walks out in a t-shirt. Even there's all these promos of in his big robes and that. It's Bobby Roode. Walks out in a t-shirt. And then they're playing Kurt Angle's music before he's even going to the ring properly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm assuming they were pressed for time. But considering this is your biggest show and this is your main event and it's meant to be Bobby Roode's big moment, or that's what we're building up to. I just thought that was a bit strange, to be honest. How quickly they rush through, and then Kurt Angle gets in the ring and they're doing it, they're fighting. Like, I'm assuming a segment, if any segment went over time, it would have been the last segment. I imagine that beat down, but Hogan's going to do what Hogan's going to do. But yeah, I just thought it didn't feel like a main event the way they were building it up. It almost felt like an extra match.
I've got beef. Roode puts a crossface on Kurt Angle.
Mm-hmm.
Too soon.
Too soon, especially when I'm going to say it because we're just going into it now. Angle does not look in good shape.
Oh no, it doesn't.
Angle's in a bad way.
Yeah, this is where he was like heavily on painkillers.
Mm-hmm.
Heavily. Yeah. What, like popping like something like 100 pills a day?
Yeah. He should not have been wrestling, especially not in the main event.
No. For me, they should have just made the Hogan Sting match, the main event.
Yeah, I think it shouldn't. It would have been risky because it might not have been good, but
it was a talking point through the whole show, wasn't it?
Yeah, they could have ended on that really good, that high pop of Hulk Hogan's face 10.
Yeah.
Send the crowd home happy because the crowd felt it just felt tacked on this whole show, really. Like, it felt like we just had the main event and they're like, oh, by the way, like the UFC sometimes used to do it where they had the main event mid-show. Or when we watched Saturday Night's main event that time.
Yeah.
And then afterwards it's like, oh, by the way, there's a few more matches. Like, I don't know, it just, considering it was meant to be a world title match, I don't know if Bobby Roode just wasn't the biggest star at the time. Like,
they build him up to be, aren't they?
Yeah. Maybe it just wasn't. Maybe it was too much too soon.
Roode gets screwed though in this match.
Yeah.
So Angle slam. Kurt uses the ropes for leverage, but Roode had his arm through the ropes, not holding onto the ropes.
Yeah.
About 2 minutes earlier, Angle does the same thing, and the ref breaks the count.
Yeah.
But the ref is in eye vision of Roode's arm and doesn't count it as a rope break.
Yeah, and I think even make it more obvious. Angle then grabs on the rope himself, doesn't he? Just
Yeah,
to like, okay, they've really. Yeah, I thought it made it look Roode look weak, to be honest, because he didn't kick out. Like, if you got enough wherewithal to move your arm under the rope, at least bloody grab the rope. I don't know if that's just a minor point, but for me, it looked like he was just lazily trying to kick out. Referee didn't see it,
but the referee did
like,
see it.
Yeah, but it was almost like it was Roode's fault for not doing more when he could have. He clearly could have done more. I thought.
Yeah.
Apparently, at the time, looking back, there was a massive backlash about this.
Oh, really?
Because this was like the whole point. They sold the show on basically the big babyface WrestleMania finish. Babyface goes over, Bobby Roode's going to be the champion. Like, it's all his hard work's going to it, and then Angle wins through a screw job. And apparently, there's a massive fan backlash.
Right.
People not happy. I can see why, because I know it happens all the time when a heel wins a main event now in WWE, especially if it's in a shitty manner like this. But yeah, I thought it was overall a bit of a downer to end the show on, not just because of the finish, just because I thought this match felt rushed. I know they were obviously squeezed for time. We went right up against the 3 hours, didn't we? It was like 2 hours 52, I think, this show.
Yeah.
So if they've got a 3 hour limit, then they've got to be careful. But yeah, what did you make of the main event, Aaron?
What did I give it? Dave Meltzer gave it 3 stars. I gave it 2.5.
2.5. Yeah, that's fair. If that's an average rating, then I would say they had
To be
some good
fair-
spots, but I thought Angle didn't look in good shape. They rushed the start of it, so it didn't feel like a big deal. And then the big baby face lost, with a weak finish as well. Like,
very weak finish.
Yeah, bit of a lame ending.
It was
ending.
If you think you've had like some really good matches in this, you had the Sting Hogan match, you've had the RVD Jerry Lynn match, and you've had the Bully Ray Mr. Anderson match.
Yeah,
it's just felt really weak.
It did. There was a star power was in there, wasn't it? But like,
yeah.
I think it was at that point, wasn't it? Like, we all got too much into Angle's problems, but I don't. Having Angle in the main event at this point feels a bit weird to me.
Yeah.
To be honest, like, as we say, like, Hogan Sting, like, it was never going to be a 5-star Meltzer Classic, but it was a better match than this, a more entertaining match, I thought, than this one. And it had the big stakes there that you could have put it in the main event.
Yeah. Without doubt.
So that was Bound for Glory 2011, which was 10 years ago, if you want to feel old. Overall, then, Aaron, what did you make of this pay-per-view?
Well, if we're going an average of what I've kind of given it, you're probably looking 2.5 stars, 3 stars as an average.
Yeah.
Which I think I'm quite happy to go 3 stars for the whole pay-per-view. Double that if you want to do out of 10, 6 out of 10.
Yeah, that would make sense. I think, if Terry was here, he'd give it 6.5. And I think you'd probably be right on this occasion. It's a classic 6.5. I enjoyed it. I'm like, I'm going to hold on to the Impact Plus app, I think, for a bit longer. And check out some of the stuff. We should probably get TNA in more regular rotation on this show than we have done in the past.
I agree. I don't think Ross or Terry have signed up for Impact Plus yet, because there was holding off because they probably had it premeditated that they weren't going to turn up this week.
That's why
last week.
That's why they're not hearing it, but the cheap ads. That's why they both pulled out of it. You just don't want to pay it.
Yeah, well, it said $7.99 on the app, and then when I checked my PayPal, it was only $5.99.
Yeah, mine paid in dollars for some reason, so mine was cheaper than I thought, which is I was pleased about. I saw Terry open his wallet at the weekend, and bloody moths flew out of it. It's not been open for a long time, but yeah, that was TNA Bound for Glory 2011. Yeah, so 6.5, good show. If you're gonna go out your way to watch 1 or 2 matches on the air, probably pick Jerry Lynn, RVD, or Samoa Joe Kennedy for me. Oh no, Sting Hogan as well.
Yeah. Sting Hogan.
I would pick. Like, get those done in an hour. The rest of it's pretty skippable, to be honest. But it was a good show overall, and hopefully you enjoyed doing a bit different and doing TNA this week. Next week, Aaron, I think, and we've not decided this. This is just I'm shooting off the hip. It's that time of the year. We've got to get a Halloween Havoc in, right?
We have.
Yeah, so that's what we'll be doing next week. A Halloween Havoc. Not decided which one yet. But we'll be doing should we just decide right now? Should we do?
Let's just do it now.
Let's do Halloween Havoc 96 then, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know what was on it, but it was the NWO shenanigans. That's what we're doing next week. Halloween Havoc.
And then the following week, I've already decided what we're doing.
What we're doing next week? What we're doing in 2 weeks' time?
In 2 weeks' time, we're doing TNA Turning Point 2004.
I'm up for that.
It is Macho Man Randy Savage, only televised match for TNA. Well, it's the only match that he ever wrestled for TNA.
Oh, did they only have one match?
Yeah, and it is in a 6-sided ring.
Amazing. This is the TNA I remember.
DDP also makes an appearance, apparently. So I'm very looking forward to that.
Wow.
So Turning Point 2004.
Okay, so we've got Halloween Havoc 1996 next week, and then the week after that, Turning Point 2004. Randy Savage is in the main event next week as well. Double Savage. Aaron has just been trapped by his cat. If you heard that in the background,
yeah, one of the many.
How many cats have you got in the Franklin residence at the moment?
We have 4 now. Used to be 2, and then a couple of weeks ago I thought, yeah, it's a good idea. Let's get number 2. So we've got 2 kittens, two good fully grown cats. It's a madhouse at the moment.
I can imagine. You have more. Oh, you still got more bedrooms than cats, just. In the Franklin residence, the Franklin mansion.
Franklin Towers.
Franklin Towers. I will go with that. So join us next week. Forgot to do it. Aaron, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Frankenstein91. Where can we find you, Lew?
You can find me at Lew Markham, and you can find us all at Rest Around on all your social media, and especially on Twitch tonight, twitch.tv/Rest Around tonight for Wrestling Around Crown Jewels. Randy Anderson's done the set. He spilled the paint. Who knows what that means? We'll find out tonight. Title versus career. No, career versus career. Terry Peters versus the Spooky Skank. And the BMG finally can he win the title?
Cannot wait for this pay-per-view.
It's gonna be a huge one. Live from Baghdad, Iraq, because that was the only Middle Eastern venue on the game. So that's what we're going with. But we'll see you for that tonight, and we'll see you next week for Halloween Havoc 1996. Thank you.